All of us over a certain age remember exactly where we were in July of 1969 when Neil Armstrong took that famous step on the moon. I was watching a small black and white TV set, and I remember just intense pride that an American and an Ohioan was stepping onto the moon. I had the pleasure of getting to know Neil Armstrong because he came back to Ohio. He was from a town called Wapakoneta. He moved back to the Cincinnati area and became a dear friend, he and his family. During my swearing in as a senator in 2010, he and his wife Carol agreed to join us for dinner. We walked through the Capitol. I pointed out to Neil that he was on one of the murals on the wall, and he said, "Well, that's interesting." The other guests thought it was incredible. Neil thought it was interesting. We got to the dinner, and Colonel Tom Moe, another friend of mine, approached me and asked if he could speak with Neil. Tom Moe was one of those brave American pilots shot down over North Vietnam who had been in the Hanoi Hilton. Colonel Moe said, "I got a story to tell you, Mr. Armstrong. The prison guards did everything they could do to paint a negative picture of America. One day, one of Tom Moe's fellow prisoners received a letter from his mother.
A letter came through, which is almost a miracle in itself.
That letter included a postage stamp, and on that postage stamp was a photograph of Neil Armstrong stepping onto the moon.
The message of light, of what our country is and what it can do to put a man on the moon, it was so uplifting to us. We weren't going to get down, no matter what the Vietnamese communists did, but to see that stamp, what an uplift."
Neil Armstrong, who was not a very emotional guy, got emotional, as did Tom Moe, and I treasure the photograph I have behind my desk today of the three of us after telling that story. But it's an example of the impact that Neil Armstrong had. He was a witty, charming, wonderful man, but he was not someone who believed that this was about him. Even what he said when he landed by saying, "This is one small step for a man," that was him. He was just a man. He was the perfect person to do it, and the perfect representative of our American values: modesty, humility, and accomplishment.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap